Hey Igniters, it's your leader Rachel here. I'm wearing my Ignite t-shirt, so I'm in the camp mood and I hope you are too. Yeah, I really hope you've been enjoying what we've been doing so far at camp. And that the rest of it will also be fun for you. I really miss you guys. It's been a long time since we've been able to meet in person, but it's been great seeing a lot of you over Zoom. So welcome to my letter writing and envelope making little workshop video thing. Ta-da! So I'll just talk a little bit about letter writing first. I think letter writing is really useful for us to connect with each other. Especially during this time when we're at home and we're not meeting up with each other in person, and especially because usually we would be having camp where we'd be spending a lot of time with one another, and yeah, having deep and meaningful chats. It can feel like we're not really connecting deeper than a surface level, and a lot of you might be missing those deep chats that you have over camp, and kind of really seeing how each other are going during this time. So it can be really good for that. And letters are really long lasting. They're kind of things that you treasure for a long time and you can actually return back to a lot easier than messages, even though messages seem like they're always with you because they're online. But actually I hold a lot more memories with letters in this little box of mine with a lot of my old ones. It's actually overflowing a bit now. And another thing that's really great about it is that it doesn't have any association with your phone or with the social media platform that you're using to message someone. It's really just you and the paper and the pen and the other person that you're writing to. Yeah, it's just really refreshing having something, a way of communicating with one another that isn't over social media. So if you're wondering, what do I even say in a letter? First of all, you can just start with, what have I done today? What have I done today that I really enjoyed? Or even if you haven't enjoyed it, or do a recap of your week or something like that. You can talk about things like movies, TV shows, books, songs that you've been liking recently, just to start off. Another thing you can do, which I find is I always kind of fall into when I'm writing a letter, is how much I miss the person that I'm writing the letter to. So if you think of something like a memory that you've had with that friend from a few years ago that you miss, it's always nice to just kind of mention it, I guess, because it's like a fond thing that you can share with each other and reminisce about. As I mentioned before, it's also a really good chance to just ask how the other person is going beyond the surface level, and how they are really finding isolation or how they're finding life now and what's going on for them. Especially because I find that maybe sometimes when you're writing things, it's easier to talk about harder things or things that's going on in your personal life than it is to just chat about it or message about it. It's a good chance to open up about your own life and ask about the other person's life too.
Hello, so this is Editing Rachel here. I just forgot to mention that if you write a letter, it doesn't have to be with the expectation that the person's going to write back to you. Sometimes it can just be wanting to give a gift to someone, and that should come out of a place of love and not obligation that they need to write something back to you. It's just kind of nice to give something to someone.
And for some other little extra ideas of things that you can do, maybe you can include a nice Bible verse that made you think of them or that you think would encourage them, or maybe write out a prayer that you've had in your mind for them, and just like open up that prayer for them on the paper so that they can read it and feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Or some fun things you can do. Maybe you have a collection of memes that you have really enjoyed recently and that have made you laugh, and maybe you want to print them out and cut them out into little things and then pop them in there. One of my friends did that for me ages ago and it was just the best thing ever. It was so funny, and I put them in the back of my phone case so I could look at them later. It's kind of fun because it's not like you're just sending it over your phone, but they actually get to like hold this physical meme, and it's just funny. Or maybe you want to share some photos from your time in isolation, like when you've been on walks or things like that. Yeah, if you do have access to a printer, you can print those out and pop them in there as well, because they're flat enough to put in a letter. Or maybe put in some photos of the two of you when you were younger, or from good memories that you've had. It's always nice to have those. and then they can stick them up on their walls. Or maybe you're a really artsy person and you like writing poems and you've written a poem, whether that's for them or just in general, and you want to pop that in there as well. You can really be creative with this, so you know, put pressed flowers that you've found on your walks or something, make a bookmark and pop that in there as well. Or maybe there are some stickers that you really like that you can put on the paper that you've written your letter, or you can just put them in there for the other person. So you don't need to write the letter now, maybe just think about who you want to write a letter to, and then after this you can try it out, because obviously if you make an envelope you kind of want something to fill it with. Also, letters are just so fun to get in the mail and to send out. I mean, honestly, receiving something in the mail that's like handmade is so fun. And yeah, it's just fun. So to make envelopes, there are kind of a few ways that you can go about it, but what you will need is a pencil, an eraser, some scissors, glue, an envelope that you already have, or an envelope template. You can get them off the internet depending on what size that you want, or there are some that I've made that you can print off as well. And you can also grab some kind of colouring pens or any pens that you kind of want in case you want to decorate it. And as for paper, there are many different paper options that you can go with, which is kind of the fun thing about envelope making and has made me very obsessed with it in the past week or so. Sorry to my uni assignments that I have procrastinated in the past because I was bending over and hurting my back in making envelopes. So, you know, make sure you have good posture, people. I'm just putting it out there. So for paper, you can either use just normal paper. A4 paper should be fine for some envelopes. Some of them need bigger paper, so bigger than A4. But if A4 is all you've got, then that's also fine too. So plain paper is really good because you can kind of decorate it as you want. But what I've been really liking recently is kind of using all the nice paper that I've saved up over the years that I've, you know, kept because it's so pretty, but didn't know what to use it for, and then I decided I'm going to make some envelopes. So some of the paper that I've been using has included this thing. It's like a paper calendar thing that I really barely ever used when I had it, and it's from 2019, so I can't use it anymore for that. The lighting again, wow. But I wanted to use the paper somehow. For this kind of stuff where it's got stuff like printed on it, that obviously you kind of don't want on the outside, then that can just go on the inside of the envelope, and you can always kind of fill it with a lining, so another piece of paper that goes inside, and it'll just cover up that stuff probably. Or you can get old wrapping paper. For example, this one's really pretty and I saved it, and you know, now it finally has its purpose. And that's also another reason why it's good to kind of find those scrap pieces of paper, because you can reuse things, saves money, and also doesn't waste the paper, which is nice. More wrapping paper, and then this calendar thing I've been using as well because it's got a super pretty back that I really liked, but it's from 2018 and it's kind of like this wall calendar, another one from a magazine that I'm glad I kept. And you can find paper in your old magazines. Maybe you have ones like these where they have kind of nice bits of paper inside that you can kind of make use of. For example, this one had bits of note paper that you could use, and they've like kind of put in as some freebies, but I wasn't going to use it for note paper, so I turned it into envelopes. If you do use really dark paper, for example kind of this one, or if it's got like a really busy pattern on it, you might want to cut out like a piece of white or light coloured paper just to like put on the front as a little square or rectangle, so that you can write the address on it and it will be readable, you know, for the posties and the machines that do all that sorting. So for example, this is a template that I've been using for some of my envelopes. This one's good because it fits on an A4 piece of paper, but some of them won't fit an A4 piece of paper if they're kind of the design that has it like little arrows sticking out on either side. So you'll need bigger paper for that. Alright, so I think I'm going to jump into the part where we make the envelopes. So let's go ahead and do that now. Hello everyone, again welcome to my desk. So now we're going to move into making the envelopes. So I'll just run you through what we need again. So you're going to want to get a pencil, some scissors. A ruler is optional, but I like to use it just for kind of guiding my folding because, you know, sometimes I'm not the most accurate. You also want a glue stick, and of course you're going to want some paper to make the envelopes, and also the templates for the envelopes, or an envelope of your own that you can use as a template. And as well as that, you can also grab some things that you want to decorate your envelopes with, whether that be stickers or stamps, or anything like that, even if it's painting it, drawing on it, things like that. This one, for example, is an envelope that I already had, and you can just kind of take it apart. So that's what I've done here. So it used to be like that, right? Just looks like an envelope. But then you can just, you know, lift that flap up and then just tear away carefully these parts. It's pretty simple. It's very handy. But I have made the other envelope templates that you can use. So this one's pretty much the same kind of shape. And for today, I'll just be using these templates that I've made so you can follow along, and I'm going to make 2 today. So first off, I'm just going to make a simple one on plain A4 white paper, just because, you know, you probably have a lot of that in your house already, and you can decorate that however you want, which is nice. For this one, I'm going to use this template, and I'm just going to trace around it. And you're going to want to stay pretty still when you do it, just like making sure that you're holding down the, what's it called, the template firmly, so that, you know, you don't move it around and get crooked lines, or, you know, end up having a misshapen envelope. And now I'm going to use these scissors to cut it. My apologies if you cannot see me, you know, doing stuff in the frame. I'm trying my best. Also, side note, you can tell that this paper, since it's just printing A4 paper, it's a bit thin, which is fine, but you'll probably find that using a thicker paper, just slightly thicker, will be a bit more sturdy when you're making an envelope, and just kind of for it to feel secure. So now, if you've done that with pencil, you're going to want to grab your eraser. This isn't, you know, compulsory. It's not like you have to erase it, but I just like to erase these lines.
So now what I like to do, and it might be handy for you guys too, is I like to take a ruler and just use it to guide where I'm folding. So I just like to line it up between the points and then use my hand and kind of press it against the ruler's edge, and then I can kind of, you know, properly fold it after that. So I'm just going to go through each one now. Alright, now I'm going to fold these down properly. Alright, so that's what it's going to look like, and now I'm just going to glue it down. I'm going to grab this scrap piece of paper and just put it down underneath the envelope so that I can kind of freely glue over all the edges without worrying that I'm going to get it on my table and then it's sticking everywhere, because it happens all the time, honestly. I'm going to the edges here, making sure that, you know, it's going to stick properly when I put it together. And now I'm going to fold it up and, you know, making sure that I'm pressing down. So now you get to do whatever you want to it, really. I've got some stamps here. This cute little cat one. I don't know whether you can see. Little mushroom one, and I've got some stickers in this sticker book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write a Bible verse right here, so that it's kind of a nice little surprise when you open up the envelope. (31:24). Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. And it's from Psalm chapter 31, verse 24. I'm going to go ahead and grab my little sticker book. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Pop that one there. This one there. And I'm going to grab some more because why not? On there. And something that I like to do is, like, sometimes it's cute if you do stuff and it's kind of sticking out from here. I don't know, like if you drew a bouquet of flowers and it kind of sticks out from this little opening there. And now on the front I'm going to do some stamping. Alright, I might use this mushroom one. So I'm going to take this stamp here, the little mushroom one, and I'm just going to press it down on this. And don't forget, on the front you're going to want to leave room for the
address, that's what it's called, and the stamp as well in the top right corner. So I'm just going to put one here and one there. Simple. Oh no. Okay, well that one didn't work very well. Let me go over it again. Okay, forgive my stamping skills, that was not the best. But I'm going to do it on the other side. Ta-da! And actually, I might draw a little something where the address can go. There we go, so that's the outside, got the stamps there and this little border thing, and then you turn it over and you open it up and there it is. So you can really do whatever you want, honestly. You can paint this a nice colour, just make sure that the address section is kind of, you know, readable and visible. That goes the same way for if you're using dark paper. Put a rectangular piece of lighter coloured paper over the top here, because, you know, if it's dark or if it's a really crazy pattern, it'll probably be hard to read that address. Actually, this part looks a bit sad and, you know, lonely, so I'm going to do something here. If this pen lets me. And to stick this down, you can either use some glue and just glue it down. Unfortunately, this part here is a bit close to the edge, unfortunately, so that might be a bit hard. Yeah, you can either use double-sided tape as well, or you can just take some tape on the outside here, just making sure that it's secure. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next one. And for this one, I'm going to be using the other template as well as one of the envelope liner templates. So if you have paper that you want to use to line your envelope, you can go grab that as well. Alright, so just like the other one, I'm going to take the template and I'm going to use it to trace around on the paper.
Alright, so just like last time again, I'm going to erase the lines here. Okay everyone, so I'm back and I made a mistake when I was filming this. So I accidentally glued the envelope together before I put the envelope liner on it. So that makes it really hard to then put the liner in it after I've, glued it together. Trust me. So I've kind of reordered the footage a bit. And so the next part that you're going to see is just me using the template and tracing it out and cutting it out and stuff like that. So yeah. So now that I'm going to make the lining, I'm going to grab my template for that. So there's this one here, and I'm going to pop that on this note paper that I have. And cutting it out. And same thing, I'm just going to erase where the lines were. Now I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And so now you're going to want to stick that down onto your envelope. And remember it's going on the inside of it. So just have a look at this image on the screen, and that'll give you guidelines for that. And whilst you're doing that, please enjoy this montage of me taking forever to try and stick the liner into an envelope that I had already folded. Enjoy. Oh no. Yeah, don't make that the same mistake. Yeah, that went on for quite a while. So now in the next clips, just pretend that I have the liner already on and I'm folding it. Okay, so now it's time to glue it down. Alright, now I'm folding that up. And pressing it down like so. Alright, with a lot of effort I finally got there, and there it is. So moral of the story, put it in before you fold up the envelope.
We're learning things here, people. And now I'm just going to fold this over just so it kind of makes the crease there. So there we have this envelope and this one. Yay! And when you want to fill these envelopes, you can just, fold up your paper and pop them inside. I like to write my letters on A5 paper. That way it kind of, you just fold it in half and then you slip it in. Another thing that I really like to do is I like to put wax seals on the letters because I got a wax seal kit recently and it was really fun. And I'll show you a picture now. It just kind of adds a nice touch. But obviously you don't need to do that. So yeah, that's it for making the envelopes. Cool.
And that brings us to the end of our workshop. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been so much fun. I just wanted to say that even though it's nice to make things look pretty, at the end of the day, things don't need to look pretty in order to mean something. So don't let that stop you from setting something off, even if it doesn't look exactly perfect or how you want it to look. The thing that matters is that this person will receive something that's from you. And second of all, I would love to see all of your creations, so feel free to send them to the Ignite Instagram or over email. Yeah, it would be so cool to see all of them. So I'll catch you guys soon and have a great day. See ya!